Well, this is the proving ground for young drivers in V8 supercars, and there's no better place to look for up-and-coming driver talent than the Fujitsu series. And it's not just for drivers. There's a range of level 1 teams getting involved in the championship, and Stone Brothers Racing is one of them. So what's the point in being here?
Oh, it's just a great place for young engineers, young drivers, young mechanics. Just great training. I don't think there'll be many drivers that are going to get into the main championship without coming through this Fujitsu series from now on.
Do you ever take a weekend off?
Oh yeah, we do. Yeah. It's just this following Perth, you know, is tough, but that's fine. It's no problem.
Engineering in V8 supercars is important, but so is driving. Glenn Seaton, that's why you're here in the Fujitsu series.
Yeah, I'm here to help Tony D'Alberto, give him a bit of advice. I suppose the experience that I've had over the years, and naturally in this game it's getting tougher and tougher every day.
What are the vital areas that your two-time V8 supercar series winning experience can give a young guy like Tony?
Probably patience more than anything, I've got to say, because naturally as a young guy you just want to go out there and fire into every gap that's out there on the track that becomes available, and I just try and get that experience across to him that our goal is the end of the championship. This is what we need to do to achieve those goals. We need to be patient, we need to be calculating when we're going to do our passing. And not only that, it's great to have his feedback on the car, and I can give my advice from an experience point of view over the years of what changes we may need to do to make the car more drivable for him.
You look like you relish in this role. Do you miss driving full time?
I can't say no, I don't, because I definitely do miss it, but I'm really happy with just doing the 2 races a year, which is Sandown and Bathurst. It's been in some great cars over the past years, and I'm looking forward to this year as well, because this will be a great opportunity for me to try and achieve that ultimate goal, which is to win Bathurst. But I got to say, yeah, I do miss it.
And almost missing in action is Grant Denyer in the Ford Rising Stars Falcon. He had the battery isolation switch off itself during the safety car in race 2, so it hasn't been the best of days.
It's not the best or most warm returns, no. Look, that's a hard thing when you've got a new team like the Ford Rising Stars program. It's the first time they've gone to a 2-car team, and we've just adopted a new car which has been through a few hands before us, and it's hard to understand the language of a new car when you don't have any history with it. You don't know how to tune it and make it feel better and nicer, so we're learning as we go, and it's not proving to be all that successful so far.
Let's see how he goes. The third and final race in round 2 of the Fujitsu V8 Supercar Series. The grid is an aggregate of the first 2 race results. So Tony D'Alberto will start from the pole alongside Jonathan Webb. Chris Alejandro in retirement from race 2, but the points he got from the race 1 win put him on row 3 for race 3.
Michael Caruso off row 5.
He's got a lot of work to do. Damien White has slowly but surely been clawing his way back through the order. Andrew Thompson to start from 16th, and Dale Wood, who finished 7th in the last race, was excluded from the results, in fact, for an ignition time in irregularity, so he's a lot further back in the field.
Neil McFadden, who did get the penalty for turning Howard around in that event.
Taz Douglas struggling in the second of the Sydney Star Commodores this weekend. His first ever V8 supercar race, the former Victorian Formula Ford State champion, the green flag from the back of the grid. Now this is a longer third and final race, so the revs start to rise. Tony D'Alberto on the pole, Jonathan Webb on the outside of the first row, and he's missed the start completely.
Missed it and broke it into wheel spin. He's going to drop back through the pack. He slots into 5th position, but he'll be very disappointed with that start.
Marcus Marshall files through into 2nd spot. Fernandez is 3rd, Chris Alejandro in 4th, but more importantly, Tony D'Alberto is absolutely cleared away.
One thing we don't know about some of these guys is who's on the tyres that they say for this race and who's used up all their good tyres. We have a spinning car a little further back in the pack.
That's Adam Sharp, the Englishman in one of 3 Howard Racing Falcons, so a lot of work to do for him. And there's cars going everywhere on the run through turns 3 and 4. Grant Denyer's involved, Gary Dean, Damien Asilett. There's all sorts of stuff going on.
They'll be lucky if this doesn't bring out a pace car. This looks like the reverse grid race has evolved. What I was saying earlier was, with the tyres, we don't know who's on good tyres who used them in the second race. We heard Jonathan Webb say he'd used all his tyres up, so this race is a package of tyres for him. D'Alberto's probably saved his best tyres for this last race, and that's enabled him to really skip away into a big lead.
He certainly looks like he's got the car speed at the moment. A good fight back in the pack here as Jay Vernick in the GIO Commodore trying to make a move on Marcus Sukanovic. Here's that replay, though, of Adam Sharp just being turned around on the exit of 2.
Contact between Darwood and Sharp spun to the inside there, and you can see Woods just managed to climb back onto the track. See this from another angle. Look at the contact. And have a look at Sharp off onto the grass. Now, Wood's on the grass, Denyon lifts. We have this other accident happening here. We've got cars going everywhere. Cedars has been in the back of Denyer, it looks like there. And we've still got cars spinning off trying to avoid Denyer's accident.
Almost looked like there was a separate incident within an incident there between Gary Dean and Damien Asilett, and in the end Gary Dean ended up on the exit on the outside of the turn. Sam Walter starting to make a move on Kane Scott. Oh, there's contact there and the Kiwi goes around.
Very, very difficult one to call there. Caruso is involved in that as well, and Kane Scott kept his nose clean most of the weekend. Now he drops to the back of the pack.
A lot of work to do. Here comes Alajaj and a challenge on Jonathan Webb. So the two drivers who have won the first two races are starting to fight it out. And we heard Jonathan Webb say about using the good tyres in race 2. He's going to find it really tough in this last race.
I think a lot of people would have done that though, but Jonathan just seems to be struggling a little bit of pace. And you see Chris lock up the inside wheel there as he's trying to tip the car in and heading off towards Jose Fernandez in the Fujitsu car.
Chris Alajaj, who is having his first drive of the year in the Fujitsu series, debuted in this ex-Team Dynamic Commodore last year, and Jonathan Webb, he might not have the best tyres on, but he's certainly not giving up.
We never give up. This accident here with Kane Scott.
Looks like there was one touch and then there was another one that ended up putting the Smeg Commodore around.
When they were all nose to tail like that, very difficult to call. Damien White down the inside there, a little bit of touch and bump between he and Marcus. But they've sorted it out and they're swapping positions, dicing pretty hard here.
Two former V8 Ute champions, not afraid to rub a few panels. So Damien White hangs on to the spot, who has his car engineered by Des Conway, a former Craig Lowndes FPR engineer. This team based out of Wollongong. And look at Chris Alajaj just starting to apply the pressure to Jose Fernandez, but he makes a mistake at turn 2.
There's a few of them locking the brake down into turn 1. The corner is a little off cambered and you end up with all the weight back on the outside rear of the car, and it just lends itself to, Jonathan Webb bouncing over the curb there, probably taking a bite a little bit more than you would want.
Lap traffic becoming an issue. That was the Gary Dean Falcon involved in that earlier incident, rejoining. We go on board with Grant Denyer, looking out the back of the Summit Fleet Leasing Falcon and running a bit of a lonely race. There's the damage from the rear bumper where David Cedars got into the back of that car before. On board with Grant Denyer, hunting down Mark Howard in the Howard Racing Falcon. More Fujitsu V8 Supercar action from Wakefield Park after the break. Welcome back to Wakefield Park. This is the third and final race of the Fujitsu V8 Supercars here on 7. And that's our leader, Tony D'Alberto, with quite a margin now over Marcus Marshall.
A dominant performance by D'Alberto. I'm very, very impressed in this third and final race, how he's been able to skip away, not make any mistakes, and keep the lead of the event.
Scott Loadsman with a problem in the Tintercar Commodore. He pulls off to the run into turn 1. Here's a contact between Marcus Sukanovic and Tim Slade. We haven't seen too much of the Dexion Falcon this weekend, but a bit of contact there that no doubt the stewards will look at post-race.
We've got a little bit of lap traffic here, and this part of the race is starting to play into what's going on. There'll be people trying to use lap cars to improve their position, so you try and get it so you can box the lap car in between you and the other guy, so you can either get a bit of a gap or you can make him slow the other cars down so you can get past them. Andrew Thompson here, another in-car camera shot.
He's had a shocking weekend, really. We thought Adelaide was bad enough when he made that mistake and hit the tyre wall while leading. This weekend, an oil leak in the first race. He's really been struggling to fight his way back, but he's really kept his head down. And here's Damien White, another of the drivers who put in a good recovery drive as well.
Coming off a third place at Adelaide, really expected to get a result here at Wakefield Park, but that turnaround in the first event has cost him dearly. Has done a lot of miles here from racing utes, but really struggling to get back right up to the pointy end of the field.
And this is where the pointy end of the field is. Look at that gap. Tony D'Alberto is miles in front at 2/3 race distance. Marcus Marshall holds down second. A car in pit lane there, Tim Slade, with what looks like a right rear tyre that's come off the rim, which no doubt is a byproduct of that contact with Marcus Sukanovic.
We've got a great dice going on here with these four vehicles, all fighting pretty hard for a position. Bit of dust there. Someone's dropped a wheel off the side of the road. And I'd say Michael's in a position this weekend where he's just trying to gather up as many points as he can, get through the meet and get away and look very forward to the next event.
And this is Andrew Thompson, the Latitude Howard Racing Ford with Dick Johnson Racing Power Plants in 2007. Desperately trying to fight back from that oil leak in race 1, and that's this race format, which certainly makes it very, very difficult to fight back from dramas. But all things told, he's actually done a good job and kept a level head.
Hard to fight your way back from the back of the pack when you've got a fast car. You know, a circuit like this where it's quite short, bumpy, narrow, you've just got to pick each car off. At this point of the race, the rear tyres will be going off, cars will be understeering a fair bit.
Been so impressed with Sam Walter in behind him, the Tasmanian, who is making just his second ever V8 Supercar start. He's done a super job.
Turns out he had a broken sway bar in the second race. They've repaired that and he's making his way forward in the pack.
That's the sound of a Dick Johnson Racing power plant in the Andrew Thompson Falcon, and more lockups down there at turn 2. That's the place where the inside front tyre is really working hard.
Well, they're starting to run out of grip on the tyres. Terry Wyhoon just off the road there.
Looked for a bit of grip in the grass. I don't think he found it.
You won't find much grip out there, but at this point in the race, the tyres are well past their best. And what's happening is they've got no lateral grip, so when they jump on the brakes, they're tending to lock them up and skip along the road a little bit, and that's what's causing all the smoke we're seeing on the run down into turn 2.
Oh, all sorts of drama at turn 2. Tom Drewer, the V8 Supercar rookie, is off and into the tyre wall, and that's a decent off because it's pretty hard to hit anything at Wakefield Park.
Looked like he had a lot of speed on the car when he came off the road. They obviously made contact in turn 1 well before they got to the brake area, I think.
Here's a replay of the contact between Terry Wyhoon. That's at turn 9, and Terry Wyhoon ends up hip and shouldered out through the scenery. So maybe some form of the contact from there that has caused some drama with Tom Drewer's car when he's come around next time through.
Not too sure. It doesn't look like it's a very hard contact, though. It's just gently pushed Terry off the road, but possibly something's broken on the car, and as he's run down off the main straight...
Oh, Chris Alajarjan in problems with the Pro Technica Commodore pulling infield on the run through turn 5. So by the way he's pulling off there, he's got some sort of a terminal issue.
Looks like a flat tyre or a broken upright or something.
Oh, there's contact between... That's Dale Wood and one of the HPM Falcons. It's pretty hard to tell from that angle of things, either Luke Youlden or Aaron McGill. That's Aaron McGill coming onto the straight, so it's Luke Youlden who has had some form of incident. That's a strange place to have had a crash.
Certainly a weird parking position when you have a look how they finished. Not sure if we've got another replay coming of exactly how that happened, but Youlden's not having a great start to the season in this vehicle.
So the WPS Chrysler safety car has been called out. This is the replay of Tom Drewer, who took out one of the infield signs on the inside of the circuit and then spun all the way out to the outside wall. Really
not too sure what's going on there. He's either made a big miscue or run off the road.
A replay here of Jay Verdnick making a move on Michael Caruso into turn 10. He's just in there, and oh, it's Caruso who in fact makes contact with Jonathan Webb.
Well, 3-1's never going to work into that corner.
And here is Dale Wood and Luke Youlden. Wood on the inside, Youlden on the outside. There's a bit of a rub there, and they just get tangled together.
Well, that's a very difficult call. There's no way Luke could stay out wide there. He would have just been run straight into the tyre barrier. So certainly plenty for our IPO to have a look at the end of this event.
Mike Holloway taking that job on in the Fujitsu series this weekend.
HPM car, one of the best looking vehicles in the race.
It's not looking too good now, unfortunately. It's been a tough baptism of fire for this new sponsor into the category. There's just a small rub there, and Luke gets the left rear into the grass.
Well, I would have said there's a bit more than a small rub, but really, it's a very difficult call. Wood's trying to run out and get as much road as he can to get a good run down, and Youlden wants to get back on the road so he doesn't run into the tyres, so I'm sure they'll be looking at that one.
Tony D'Alberto is the leader. We'll go to a break. We'll wrap up race 3 soon. Back at Wakefield Park in race 3 of the Fujitsu V8 Supercar Series, the WPS Chrysler safety car is on track after this contact between Dale Wood and Luke Youlden on the exit of turn 10. And with the race drawing to a close, Brad, we're hearing from race control that we're in fact going to have this race not restart under green flag racing conditions. It's going to be in fact a 200-metre dash to the finish.
Well, the idea is they need to clear the track up as much as they can, and they love to finish these events under green, but got our run down to the line here.
And this is going to give Tony D'Alberto a breakthrough. His first ever win in the Fujitsu V8 Supercar Series. Holden breaker, 3-year drought. It's been a long, long time between drinks, so they'll all wind their way through the final run to the checkered flag. On board with Grant Denyer, it's been a very, very tough return to the championship for him this weekend. At least he makes it home and picks up a finish in race 3. It's been a tough weekend for Grant. It's only going to get better, but Tony D'Alberto, finally, he's been in this championship since mid-2003, and he breaks through for his first ever pole and now his round win. A great drive from Marcus Marshall, second in the final race, and Jose Fernandez as well.
We got to look at Michael Caruso, 6th place finish from 20th in Grid 1. Fantastic result for him. He'd be happy for the points. Drew
Russell, the V8 rookie, finished 18th, but our winner, Tony D'Alberto, is a very happy man.
I just can't believe it. I'm just absolutely stoked. You know, it's just been such a big build-up to the year, and a fair bit of pressure on me to try and win that first one, and now we've finally done it, and I'm just out of breath. You know, I'm just that ecstatic. You know.
Go and enjoy it.
Oh, thank you.
A great weekend for Tony D'Alberto, the round winner, 12 points clear of Marcus Marshall. Jose Fernandez rounds out the podium, and Jonathan Webb and Sam Walter, 2 standouts.
Jonathan Webb would have to be a bit disappointed in that last race, but he's really shaping up well in this series.
Tony D'Alberto, finally. It's taken a while, but Holden back on top in the Fujitsu V8 Supercar Series, and that pushes him out now to a 27-point buffer over Michael Caruso. Jonathan Webb, Jose Fernandez, and Damien White round out the top 5 in the championship. The next time you can see the Fujitsu V8 Supercar Series will be live on track, round 3 at Winton Motor Raceway in Victoria, May 18 to 20. www.wintonraceway.com. Of course, lots more motor racing action here on 7. V8 Extra next Saturday at 1 p.m. with a preview of round 3 at Pukekohe, and our own Neil Kearney goes bush with the Kelly boys. Wakefield Park is the site of the Australian Performance Car Championship. All the action from there at 1:30 p.m. Check your local guides. And then the big boys, the V8 Supercars back for round 3, Pukekohe in New Zealand, April 21 and 22. In the meantime, though, from all of us here at V8 Supercar Television, we'll see you next time.